Yeah, we should be live now.
Okay. Yeah, you
We'll
just
wait.
tweet.
We'll wait a little bit, a few minutes for people to trickle in.
I
Yeah,
think
we're
it's,
live. We're live.
All right,
I don't have the chat up or anything, so I can't.
I'll have it up.
Right.
Yeah, me too.
Let me share that we're live so people can join.
I saw a tweet that came up. I think it was from you.
Yeah, UConn Xavier pregame. We have this.
I'm in a big Twitter group chat on Twitter. So
Let them know.
big UConn
Yeah,
chat on Twitter.
That's a
spread the
smart
word.
idea.
Yeah, I got the chat up here. So
Any viewers yet?
Let me refresh. We got Kyle 089.
is that
That could be one of the Kyles that was on. I don't
Kyle
know.
Garab, however you say it. I'm sorry, Kyle.
Or Kyle B.
And I don't even know how to say his last name.
Kyle B or
Oh,
Kyle B or Kyle G.
we got four viewers now. We're going up.
All
All
right.
right, here we go. How do we
I
want to
guess
start?
we could talk some UConn Xavier. That's why we're here. Obviously, big game tonight for the Huskies. Another, even though Xavier's a little bad this year, it's still going to be a very tough game. I don't know if we've won yet since we got back in the Big East going to Xavier. We definitely didn't last year. I don't
Nope.
think we did the year before, but
Oh,
it's gonna it's gonna be tough. I'll start there. You guys can jump in. I don't have the highest level of confidence. This is probably the least confident I've been so far in Big East play that we might drop a game.
I don't know. Andrew was pretty confident in the first game that we wouldn't win. And I don't know. I'm feeling an odd amount of optimism going into this game. I think we could win. But like this is the year you got to catch Xavier lacking. It's going to be tough without Klingon though. Another game without him, obviously no good. You need Samson to show up again. Like he has been the past few games. You just need guys to show up. And I feel like our losses have just been because certain guys didn't show up. If you look back to Kansas, I mean, Spencer was shooting off 1 foot. So, I mean, you never know. If he's healthy, he might sink that shot at the end of the game, might win it. Seton Hall, I don't really know what happened. Just nobody
Yeah, that
showed
was
up.
weird.
Nobody showed up. So, I mean, you just need your guys to show up, which they have been doing, especially Castle. I feel like he's kind of been in a way the driving force because when he wasn't really doing that much, we weren't that successful unless you count out of conference play. But I feel like he's a guy that you need in Big East play, just a big oversized point guard who can kind of control the floor and keep the other guys spaced out, be able to run the offense. He definitely does better at running the offense than Newton, in my opinion. Just a true point guard, but it's going to be nice to have him here.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
you
we
go
just
ahead.
need everybody to step up tonight, like Matt said. But in particular, I think the guards, because Xavier's decent in the front court. Obviously missing their big guy, but we're missing our big guy too. And speaking of him, I think I'm gonna go out on record, by the way, before I get posted all over Twitter here. I am not a verified source. I am not Bill Klingon. I am not Dan Hurley. I think that this is going to be the last game without Klingon. I think he gets a little bit of run in the Georgetown game so that he's ready for Kalkbrenner on the 17th of January when Creighton comes to Stores for a late night clash at Gamble. So I think that this is the last one without Klingon because they said that he's progressing really well. But then again, they said Castle was fine and they sat him for more games than he should have. So who knows? But I think we're going to be missing Klingon a lot tonight. And the Cintas Center, hard to win in. I mean, Butler, obviously that atmosphere was tough. We got behind it, we got back in it. Very hard to get back into a game at the Cintas Center. It just really doesn't happen. I mean, Xavier could be the worst team in the Big East, and that place would still be sold out and packed. And I don't think there's a lot of UConn fans going tonight. So it's going to be. I think that I agree with Connor. This is going to be our roughest game of this no clinging stretch.
Yeah, I agree. I don't really unless there's a setback, I don't see a world where Hurley says, okay, he's not playing against Kalkbrenner and Creighton. I don't know if he'll come back for that Georgetown game. It almost might not be worth it, even if he gets a few minutes just to get his feet wet. I don't know if that would truly be necessary. But we talked about guys that haven't been stepping up in these losses, these road games. A guy that has like been kind of bad is Tristan Newton. We could talk about that for a little bit. He didn't score obviously versus DePaul. We didn't need him to score, and he made a bunch of free throws against Butler, but he only went like 3 for 12 from the field, I believe, 1 for 8 from three. So his 2024 has not been off to a hot start. We need him to be the Tristan Newton that was not conference play, the Tristan Newton that was just named to the mid season Wooden Award watch, the top 25 list there. We need that Tristan Newton against Xavier if we're going to win. But I'm going to reiterate, we lost here last year and we were undefeated number two, I believe 14-0, at 15-0. Well, I don't remember exactly. I think 14. But we need Tristan Newton to be Tristan Newton of the past couple of months, and Stephon Castle will continue to be the 2024 version of Stephon Castle, who arguably has been our best player over the past two games.
Let's just be honest with ourselves here. This is something that we've never seen before from Tristan Newton. It's sort of the same exact script from last year. If you're looking at last year's team and this year's team, struggle around December, January, and then you really catch your steam, rolling into February, March. Newton, he's going to show up again. It's just a matter of when, I feel like. I don't know if that will be until February or this will be tonight. But overall, I mean, he's a guy who's going to slump. And, you need to learn how to play in those slumps. I mean, he's a fifth year now. If he was this talented, in my honest opinion, he would have been in the league years ago. He's a great player when he's at his best. But, things like this happen. And that's why you have guys like Castle. And that's why you have guys like Ball to come and kind of fill that absence. Last year, we were the deepest team in the country, in my opinion, and it paid off. So hopefully once Newton gets going, once Castle gets a full head of steam, things are looking a lot different come March.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't been scoring. I would say he's struggling. He had, what, 5 rebounds, 7 assists in that DePaul game, and he still put up double figures. It might have been like 17 points with like 10 free throws against Butler. So this struggle is like arguably better than what he's done all last year in some stretches. Like you mentioned that stretch, Matt. That St. John's game where he had zero. That St. John's game where he had zero is a lot different than the DePaul game when he had zero. But I just feel like we really got to contain Xavier's guards. The front court, like Andrew mentioned, Fremantle isn't playing. Jerome Hunter isn't playing. Their front court, they have some bodies, but like even Samson Johnson should be able to handle their front court, even when we don't have Klingon. But stopping those guards like Quincy Olivari, who's been one of the best transfers in the Big East, he's averaging 18 points per game from Rice. I feel like if you stop him, you stop the other guys, Desmond Claude, I feel like that's the recipe for success in this one. Um, let's look at the chat real quick.
Yeah. Anybody saying anything?
It's Kyle B.
There we
There's
go.
Kyle in the chat. That was elevate that foot, DC.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he
People are
warming up
telling him to
tonight?
sit down.
He
I
warming up
saw that
tonight?
on Twitter.
I don't think he's warming up.
No, but
Let's get
people
after it tonight.
they get concerned when he's standing up on the bench.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
If he couldn't stand, he wouldn't. So I'm
Yeah.
not
Oh,
worried
actually,
about that.
Xavier printed this paper out. I want to touch on that. I'm not like trashing on Xavier or anything, but hold on. So they made like a fake little newspaper. And that's what it looks like. If you can see that. It's got like the smack board and it's a picture of Donovan and his girlfriend, and then it's just like
God.
Yeah, it's
there is not a single gas station, supermarket, or restaurant within a 30-mile radius of UConn's campus. Well,
it's
okay.
not true.
That's not true.
Yeah, not true either.
I went to I think it was a Big Y right nearby. So.
Yep. And yeah, it's just
confirm.
and then at the top, yep, we all knew this was coming. Don't throw a temper tantrum, coach.
God, it's all in fun though. I don't know.
Yeah.
I saw that too. My favorite part of that is they include like a newspaper, the Big East standings. They have us in
Yeah.
first and them in eighth. Like you can't include that on your page.
Yeah.
No.
That doesn't get the point across that you want.
It's kind of funny, but I mean, they're on top of the world right now from last year. They beat us both times last year. They were the only, according to your rules there, they were the only team besides Marquette to beat us twice last year.
That's
The
true.
rules, trivia rules,
Oh,
making
wait,
it
no, that's not true.
trivia
Because
rules.
technically
Well,
31st was not
well,
that
it's
year.
true. It's true. They're the only team that beat us twice along with Marquette. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
They're
Well,
the only team we didn't beat that we played.
exactly. Yeah.
That's the way to put it.
That we haven't beat since James Booknight was ejected from Gamble Pavilion
Yeah, I
oh,
remember that.
forgot about that.
and then joined the student section.
He needs to play. He's on his way out of the league.
Yeah,
This is a bit of a
unfortunately.
sidetrack. Bit of a
I hope he
sidetrack.
gets a shot. I want to see the kid succeed.
He needs to get out of Charlotte. I knew the second they drafted him, it was dumb.
Yeah.
I mean, they had
Charlotte and
LaMelo.
Pelicans, please don't draft any of our players anymore.
Ah, Pelicans
Please.
too, dude. Dude, Snogo even in those
Yeah.
9 minutes or whatever he
I
had.
can't get over that he went off in those 9 minutes in the next game when they still just had one center. He didn't play.
He's so
Crazy.
consistent. I was going to say, when you said like the inconsistency with Newton, I think in the last like 15 years, he's the only player we've had who is so crazily consistent.
He's
Like,
really
I don't
good.
know if he had a bad game when he was here.
He's really good. He like I watch nowadays, like I watch Sampson and Klingon, and they're good players, but it's like night and day. Like he would just get you a bucket like every time.
Whenever you need it.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was crazy, and he could get it to you in any way. Like he would step back, like behind the line,
I
he'd
think that's
shoot
where we're
it.
going to struggle in March, honestly. Is I don't know. I don't really trust, not that I don't trust. I don't know if any player can be like him and just go get a bucket whenever. Like you gave the ball to Snogo on the post, it's a bucket. You give it to him at the top of the key, he's going to make a move and go get a bucket. And I just haven't seen that this year. I mean, I'm not like bringing the team down or anything, but Sonogo's a big piece to lose. That's what it is. He's the most outstanding player in the Final Four for a reason. So it's going to be a tougher piece to lose than people think.
I feel like we're just a Sweet 16 team this season. That's just my opinion. I don't want to get too down, but it's just
We
like
are
all the
we are
pieces.
13 and we are 13-2 by the way right now.
Oh,
It's not
oh,
like
there are other, I
Yeah,
don't know. I mean, if you look at it, it's just like you're missing like some key guys from last year. You're missing Hawkins, you're missing Jackson, you're missing Snogo, and you're replacing them with like really freshmen and Cam Spencer. So it's
but good
I
for
don't
them
know.
for stepping up.
Yeah,
hmm
but you need if you want to win the whole thing again this year, you need Stephon Castle to be a top 10, top 5 pick, like undeniable, like best point guard in the draft. But
he's got to be
He's
like
starting to
first
figure it out.
he's got to be
he
like
is.
first college guy off the board.
But if
Yeah.
you look at all the other point guards this year in college, I mean, it's been kind of the same way. It took Rob Dillingham a minute. Castle's having a tough time, so but he's been
Yeah.
getting it going. Dillingham too had like 23 last night, I think, or a few nights ago.
And USC, Isaiah Collier. I haven't really been following. I know the team's awful. I haven't been following what he's doing. But yeah, there's a lot of talented freshman guards that'll all be lottery picks probably. Hopefully Castle's the first one. That's another selling point for Hurley. Like, oh, come here. There's a bunch of lottery pick guards, freshmen. We had the first one
Yeah.
off the
Yeah.
board
We need
at pick.
Malik Thomas.
Yeah.
College is a different game now. It's tough. It's not just like you're going to come in with like 3 top 50 freshmen and win the national championship. All these teams that win now are all stacked with seniors and juniors, and so
hmm
it's a way tougher game than it was 5, 10 years ago, in my opinion.
Go back to Xavier for a minute here. We're getting a little off track.
Well,
We
A
got we
little
got
bit.
some we got some common opponents we can look at. Obviously, kind of we're deep enough into Big East play where that's the case. Xavier lost by 15 at St. John's. They beat the Seton Hall team that beat us by 15 by 20. So quick math
That's
says
the only reason I'm a little concerned is because
and
they walloped that team that walloped us.
that was like their next game, Seton Hall too, right
Yeah,
after.
that was the night of the St. John's game. I remember watching that at Plan B Burger Bar in Hartford.
I mean,
Which,
you look
by
at
the
this
way,
Xavier.
Xavier people is a restaurant that's within 30 miles of Stores, Connecticut. So
yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't know.
if you take out their losses to Houston, Oakland, and Delaware, they're undefeated at home. But you got to really
Oakland,
look at those
Delaware.
Oakland and Delaware. Yeah,
I don't know.
that's they're in like the 2018-19 UConn phase where you lose home games to Delaware, like stuff like
Uh,
that. Like,
Jalen Adams has 33 points and we lose at home to Delaware.
yeah, I just think every time I see like a team like that beat a team like Xavier or Big East team, I just think of St. Joe's versus us. Like, even though
Yep.
St. Joe's is certainly better, like A10, they're certainly better than like a typical like mid-major bye game.
Or the Maryland Eastern Shore when the Excel Center was about 12% full and we almost lost.
Yeah.
There were some dark days. I went to
Yeah.
watch us play Temple and we got shellacked.
Hmm.
It was tough times. I haven't heard a single word about Temple basketball since that day, though.
No.
No, they're stuck
Not
in the
one.
American.
Not one. But some of these American
Xavier,
teams.
they only lost by one at Villanova, which Nova, they've had a weird season. They're still probably a top five team in the conference, so they've been
Ooh, we
playing
got
tough their past few
we
games.
got
That's for sure.
breaking news here. Tristan Newton out for game for Xavier. Burned the
Wow.
roof of his mouth on a really hot bagel bite.
Okay, that's not true. You had me.
Oh
You had
Breaking
no.
me for a
news.
second. Really
Straight
hot
out
bagel.
of Ohio.
As Tristan Newton has too many Fs. He's not playing
Num
tonight.
Number
Yeah.
five, Tristan Newton out for game versus number 54, Xavier. Are those like the same ranking? What list has Newton at five and Xavier the college at 54? What are you ranking there?
This is it's just a ranking, dude. It's just the power rankings. Number 5. That's really generous. Super
Uh,
generous.
let's see. There is a Big East game going on right now. Providence versus St. John's. Let's check up on that score.
When's Kansas?
Providence, obviously. Oh, it's 50-47 St. John's. So it was
Oh
St.
boy.
John's was blowing them out early. Obviously, the Friars don't have Bryce Hopkins for the rest of the year. Corey Floyd is starting for them with his 0 points.
Cardio Corey.
I mean, he's not helping his case. He's 0 points. He has 2 rebounds, but like you get rebounds by just standing there.
He's got to step up now that Hopkins is out. They
He's
need him.
starting now. They really do. They're like
Yeah, they
eight
need
deep
him.
now.
Prove his worth.
Got any comments?
I just saw one as I was checking the score. How confident are you guys in UConn tonight?
We'll give a number out of 10. Give a number out of 10.
What's the scale? Like 10,
1 to
10
1
will
to
win,
10.
one will lose.
Yeah.
Yeah, like definites. Like 1 we're definitely losing, 10 we're definitely winning.
I say a 6, even though I think there's a good chance we'll lose just because we're a lot better than them
That's what
and
I
they're
was thinking.
they're like
I
not
think
that good.
6.
I'm at a 7.5. And I don't know if that's just generous or just the fact that I feel like all of our pieces are kind of coming together a little bit better.
I don't know. It just feels like a trap game.
We had our trap game. I don't know. I feel like teams like us, like top 5 teams in the country, you don't lose 2 games in a few weeks like this, in my opinion. I mean, last year, you look back to last year, we lost to ranked teams. We were losing to Marquette, we were losing to Providence, we were losing to Xavier, but Xavier's an entirely different team. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we should win this one. It'll be a bit close. I feel like it'll be another Hurley close game classic like he's putting together this year. I feel like it's not gonna. Here's my guess. I'm gonna say we're winning like 70, 77 to like 70. It'll be tight, but I think we'll
I
pull it
think
away.
it's something around there.
Yeah,
We got our
like
I
the
think,
Butler
Kansas
score.
yeah.
Update. Kansas is winning 37-29 at UCF, which is a hilarious conference matchup. But so
Oh,
if you guys watching are not like don't know what's going on in college basketball, I say what's going on like something bad happened, traumatic, but number one, Purdue lost last night at Nebraska. Number two, Houston lost at Iowa State. So if we
Everybody knew that
win,
was coming.
yeah, but
I
if we
bet
win our
Houston.
2 games this week, there's a good chance we move up to at least 2. I mean, Kansas still has to play 2 games as well. They're ahead of us at 3, and obviously
Even if we
they,
don't jump them.
I
yeah,
don't
they
under,
have the head to head. But
I don't understand how from last year to this year we haven't been ranked number 1 once.
I
The highest
mean,
we got was 2.
it's because of Purdue.
I don't know,
Because
dude.
I
for the
saw
first.
Purdue, they've lost 5 times as number one since like January 1st, 2023. Like what, 375 days? They have 5 number 1 losses. That's
Wow.
you got to take a hint and stop putting them there at that point.
Yeah, and they lost in the first round.
Yeah, but
Fairleigh Dickinson. I don't know.
which player is set to break out tonight, particularly which freshman?
Castle.
I mean, this is Castle's game. I feel like this is the one where he puts up 15 and 7 again, and then gets. This is who he is. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm
So
curious to see what they do with solo ball. He only played 9 minutes against Butler. It was kind of a matchup thing, and he had a couple of stupid fouls. But I don't know. Jalen Stewart is a guy we haven't talked about. He played a fair amount, 11 minutes. Might be the most he's played in a game that like mattered, or at least a game that was competitive.
he's
Which,
college. He's college ready. He looks just out there. I don't know. He just he's not like a solo ball who like kind of gets lost in the game. He's he's there, and that's kind of my thing. It's
mhm,
like you like guys like that.
yeah. But I wonder, like, obviously Sampson was in a lot of foul trouble in that last game. Caravan, he ended up fouling out. He played a lot of center. There were some stretches where we had Jalen Stewart as the biggest guy out there. I don't think we can get away with that again and have success, but clearly Hurley doesn't want to play Singare. He played him at the end of the first half against Butler out of need because he tried Stewart at center for a couple possessions and realized we need a guy that can actually like
He's just very raw.
yeah.
He doesn't like
I
that.
He does. I was about to say he doesn't like that, but I mean, if
Because
he
center's a
wasn't,
position where you have to know the position.
like I remember the only time I remember him playing in that game against Butler was Castle threw up a lob and it was meant for solo ball, and
And
Singare
yeah,
just like jumped in the way and like interfered and no one got it. That's the only
he'll
thing
be
I remember.
fine, but
Yeah,
he's got to play. Honestly, it's kind of on Hurley for not playing him more in
yeah, it's
the
tough to get.
non-con. But at the same time, you weren't going to predict Clean getting hurt. So,
It's tough to get thrown in the fire like that. But
I'm not sure he'd
for
stay.
anybody,
Can't believe I was saying Samson Johnson's going to the league. I don't.
I mean,
I don't know because I mean Samson's going to be back next year, I'd assume, and then what Singari going to sit behind them again? I don't. I don't. I can't see him staying.
I remember I posted on my story the questions to ask. I remember one of them. I didn't take screenshots of them all, but how many pro prospects are on this team? And I feel like I'll take
like
pro
for next
prospects.
year or eventually.
Just
I'm
like one day, I'd say.
I'm taking the question as like how many of the guys on the current team will play 1 minute at least in the NBA? That's how I'm going to take that question. And I was thinking about it. I don't think it's crazy to say like 5.
I don't. I don't like Newton in there. I know that. I know that's who you're thinking of, but I can't.
He's in the 5, but like
I
he's
can't
not a
see
guy
it.
that would stick. But
He's given me like good overseas player a little bit.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like he's not Shabazz, and I mean even Shabazz was in the league for like 7 years.
and I don't know if
Hmm.
he's even better than RJ Cole. So,
I bet he's more
RJ Cole.
appealing because he's bigger.
well,
But
yeah,
yeah,
but
I don't know. I mean, Jalen Adams was in the league for a little bit.
I don't
I
think
don't
he
know.
actually
even
made it. He
still,
was like in the G League. He never made it to the NBA.
I thought he played a few minutes, like here and there. I don't know why.
He definitely played preseason because there's pictures of him in a Pelicans jersey.
Is he better than
But
Tyrese Martin?
I think so. That's an interesting floor. I think so.
ugh, I don't
But
know.
He's he's a better college player, I would say.
I'd
But
say four. I'd say Caravan, Clean, Solo, Castle.
those were my other 4 besides Newton. Yeah.
so low. No, I would say we have three locks.
Yeah. I feel like
Three locks.
Solo's a guy that can not take a Hawkins sophomore year jump. He's not going to be like the same exact player or shooter, but take on that bigger role. Next year, he could be a guy that averages 15, 16 a game. And then you almost have to go, I feel like.
Just got to find ways to do it. It's like it's like you're just kind of waiting for him to show off that explosiveness, but that moment
Yeah.
just hasn't really come yet. And I don't. It's like when's it? How is it going to come?
I feel like he's pretty much right now just like a catch and shoot guy, which is not what he's capable of. He's capable of a lot more. But we don't need him to do a lot more because we got guys like Castle and Newton to do the other
Yeah,
stuff.
maybe next year. But
Exactly. Like if you look at these guys who are like top 5, 10 picks, like a Cade Cunningham did absolutely nothing at Oklahoma State, was the first pick. James Wiseman, nothing at Memphis. I mean, you're looking who was number one overall this year? Should definitely
Wembenyama.
know. Okay, well that's different.
But the Thompson brothers, neither of them went to college. Who was the
Yeah,
first college player taken this year?
Brandon
I
Miller.
think
Brendan Miller.
yeah,
And then it
nothing
was
at
like a
Alabama. So these guys, yeah, they're going in the first year, like they're one and dones, but they're doing nothing for their team. UConn is a winning culture, and like that, like Andre Jackson said, he could have been a one and done somewhere else and won, never came close to winning a championship. But he didn't want that. He wanted a championship, and that's what he got. So I feel like it's like these guys, like a guy like Castle, for example, needs to get the fact that he's going to be a one and done out of his head. Do you want a championship or not? Like that's what I'm thinking.
yeah, I don't know. And that's just the way the game's going nowadays. I mean, if you look at, I mean, even Kentucky, Rob Dillingham, I keep saying his name, but he was like, to me at least, a top consensus like top 3 point guard. I don't know. I just saw that in him. I just see that ability. But he goes to Kentucky. He has a rough stretch there to start the season, and now he's kind of putting it together. But you got to learn to fit into a system, especially
Mhm.
over there at Kentucky with Coach Cal. You got to fit in, and I feel like that's kind of the kind of mindset that Hurley's going with is you're gonna slide into the system if you don't want any part, like you could leave. The door's open. I just feel like a lot of these guys that we saw coming in, Diggins, Floyd, etc., they were kind of just there to play for themselves, boost that draft stock and get out. And I feel like Hurley's kind of just putting his foot down and saying, look, if you want to stat pad, like you can't do that here. You got to go somewhere else.
Yeah, that's almost makes UConn more beneficial in a place like Kentucky. Like, I'll take Dillingham because you said you can go to Kentucky where there's five other versions of you, DJ Wagner, Reed Shepard, all these five-star freshmen, or go to UConn and be the only five-star freshman, but you have a bunch of veterans that know how to win around you that can make you a better player. Like, I don't know. I don't see the appeal in going. I guess it's the name brand going to a Kentucky or Duke and having all these other all your buddies, all your other fellow freshmen one and dones, but I don't know. I just feel like you get a lot more going to not a smaller program, but like a UConn or really any school in the Big East if you're a five-star freshman. But I don't know. Uh,
The, the tough part
yeah.
is that it's been 10 years now. All these kids that are committing to colleges now, like where where was UConn when they were growing up? We were nowhere to be really found. We won the Natty in 14. Then there's like 9 years there where people committing to colleges are 17. They were 9 years old. And I mean, from 9 to 14 is when they're like soaking in all this in. They're picking their dream schools. They're looking at Duke. They're looking at Kentucky. All these schools winning national championships. And it's where's UConn? Where were we? So I
Hmm.
feel like, the rebuild goes a lot deeper than just this first national championship because you got to sustain your success.
I think we'll go look. I'll look at the chat and talk about it. But then we'll give our usual players to watch. We're not going to go all the way up till game time. I know it's an 8:37 tip because usually that second game of the doubleheader on FS1 it's a little later than 8:30. We're not going to go another 25 minutes here. We're going to wrap up in the next five or so. Let's see what we
Oh
got.
boy, Go Pirates is back.
Go Pirates is back. Who's first in the Big East? I believe there's like a multiple way tie that includes UConn. Let me double check that
You
since he
guys
asked
still
so nicely.
soaking about the massacre in New Jersey?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess Hall is technically 4-1 because they played yesterday as opposed to today, but there's three teams behind them, us, St. John's, and Nova that are 3-1. So yeah, Seton Hall is first in the Big East right now. Let's see.
Congratulations. Hang the banner. Not going to last
Shaheen,
long.
Shaheen
We
Holloway's
need
quite the coach.
we need a win tonight. That Xavier scares me. It certainly does scare you, but I think they'll win. I don't. If they
We
don't
got
win,
it.
this is like the new like we're never gonna win there. I don't know.
We
Yeah,
got it.
That's
like
Creighton
Creighton.
too. Like we're not. I don't. think we'll ever go to Creighton and win.
I
Last
don't
time we
think
won at
ever in
Marquette.
the history of time.
Last time we won at Marquette.
The Poly game. We didn't. That was
Yep.
like 2 years ago,
Been a little
3 years
bit.
ago,
3 years ago.
two. I don't remember. Was the Poly game the same game Book Knight got hurt? I know he
Ye-
got hurt at Marquette, and then Poly went off.
no, no.
No,
Book Knight was already gone. I
because I
think.
don't book. I don't remember
Shit.
the hot sauce. The hot sauce stuff started after the Marquette game when Book Knight got
Yeah.
hurt. I don't know if that's all. I think that's all the same game, but
Has it been 4 years since he's been here?
Book Knight.
Jesus.
He got drafted in after COVID.
21.
21.
Were there
3
fans at
years.
that
This is year 3
Marquette game?
without him.
There were fans at that draft.
At that Marquette game, there
There-
were fans?
Oh.
No, there were not fans at Poly's game, I don't think.
Okay,
So
so
it
then
must
that's
have
definitely
been
the year he got hurt. Because
it
Book
must have
Knight
been the
was
same game as
out.
Book Night. That's probably why
Yeah.
he went off, because there was no Book Night. There we solved our own problem.
Yeah.
But
God, dude was a sniper. The hell.
has Hurley missed it all in the portal yet? It's a good question.
I
I don't
mean,
think so. I mean, who you can really break it down. I mean, Cam, he didn't miss. He didn't miss on anyone last year, obviously.
what would you
The
what
year
would you consider
before.
Diarra? It's not a hit. I don't think you look at Hassan Diarra and you're like, oh my god,
No,
nailed that.
what he did was
I-
he found the right guys to win a championship. I mean,
That
you
is
don't
fact.
always need the best guys. I mean, I remember when we had that whole colossal meltdown of 75% of the roster leaving in one day.
That was crazy.
Like
Mhm.
our guys of interest, one of them was Curbelo, who's in the Sun Belt now. So I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like he just got the right guys needed to win a championship. They all knew their roles and they did them well.
Guys
I
to buy
mean,
in.
after we didn't have a transfer the year before, like going into like after Book Night's year, I believe.
Yeah,
We didn't
we
have a transfer.
didn't. That was just
I remember
four
we were like
freshmen.
one of the few teams that didn't. The year before it was just Martin. That was the first year of the Big East. I'm
Yep.
pretty sure it was just Martin. Because that was Sonogo and Jackson's freshman year. The year before that,
Yes.
it was
Naheem
just
Alim.
RJ. He was more recent than when we're thinking.
I
RJ
know.
Cole. RJ Cole was in the American, but he sat a year.
Yeah, he didn't play. Back
I
when he
don't
was
think there were
number
any
4.
other transfers on that team. And the year before, I don't know who we brought in, if anyone. But
His first year. Probably.
all those years mix for me. Like after they made the tournament in 16 to like the last year in the American are like all the same year.
The Eric Cobb years.
Like which team had Eric
Yes.
Cobb? Which team had David and Nora? Which team had
Sean Miller.
Quentin Williams? Which team had
Sean Miller was a beast.
he was
All I
Quentin
remember.
Williams was a beast. He's
He made his way into a lot of 2Ks. He probably made himself a lot of money.
That man could dunk a basketball. My lord.
Jawan Durham. All-timer. Vance Jackson. All-timer.
Brendan Adams.
He was good.
He transferred out. He didn't transfer in. He was
Hey, just in case you guys forgot about the score of that game, it's in there 16 times.
remember when everyone wanted Fats Russell over Tyrese? Yeah, they were both
Fats
in
Russell.
URI.
Yeah,
There's like
I don't
nothing else really new in the chat besides the score being spammed by Go Pirates 19.
How many viewers did we total? Like what was that max?
I think it was 9 at the max, but it could
Whatever.
get more. We're not done. We got to do our players to watch.
Oh yeah.
Even though we kind of talked about a lot of guys, but one of you can kick it off, then the other, then I'll go.
Newton. Tristan Newton is my guy to watch. Although I think Castle's going to have a good game, Newton is my guy for tonight.
I'm gonna roll with Castle. The other one. I feel like this is like he's just kind of proven a point. I feel like I've picked him as my player to watch like 3 games in a row now, but it's just so exciting having a player like him on the team, and you want him to be consistently good, and he's kind of having that little breakout. So I'm just rolling with him again.
I'm gonna go Alex Caravan because that's the first time any of us mentioned him on this show, and he's only like he put up 17 versus DePaul, 20 versus Butler. I feel like no one's talking about him. He's gonna get another. He's gonna get 18 tonight. He'll hit four threes. Solid game, all around. I'm gonna go Caravan. And I think that'll do it here for this pregame show. We kind of first time we ever done a pregame show. If you guys have tuned in the past, which I'm sure some of you have, we've done a bunch, not a bunch. We've done a few post-game shows. Ironically, I think all of them were after losses, which was only two of them. But
Yeah.
so if we schedule a post-game show, we lose. So hopefully pregame shows equal a win. But if not,
Yeah,
that we'll just scrap all the live shows together if they lose this game, I guess. But
you got it.
yeah, this is. Do y'all do score predictions? We kind of did a little bit. We can do score predictions. I know, Matt, you gave yours
77 to
77-70.
70. Huskies.
I'll mix it up a little bit. I'll say this isn't a low scoring game, I don't think. This is like a 82 to 72 win, 10-point win.
79-68,
So all
I
in the
think.
same ballpark, pretty much. We
Yeah.
score more points than them in all three.
From these two guys
Um,
who are at sixes. We was expecting one of y'all to give us a loss.
yeah.
Come on.
All right. So I think that'll do it here for the live stream. I don't know when our next episode will be. I'm not sure yet if we'll do one after this game before Georgetown, but we'll definitely do one before Creighton. Yeah, that's going to be a top 20 matchup with how teams are losing this week. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. And if this was successful, as in if UConn wins, we'll certainly consider doing another pregame show. And hopefully more people will pop out. But thanks to everyone who showed up. And yeah, stay tuned for future content.